seats. My name is Daniel Pack. I'm the Dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science. And it's really a pleasure and honor to welcome back our native Chattanoogan alumnus, Mr. Albert Woodard, to UTC, as well as his home college, College of Engineering and Computer Science. So welcome. Welcome back. I don't know whether you know, but this week is a E-Week, and we celebrate engineers and STEM field people and what they have done. And it's appropriate that we have Mr. Woodard with us this week to give us his talk. Mr. Woodard is a 1974 graduate of the university with a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science. How many of you are computer science majors? Oh. Okay, there are more coming. Mr. Woodard also holds MBA from Georgia State University, who's from business school. There we go. There's some business school. Good. Thank you. And he's currently serves as chairman of the board of Kazee, which is our nation's largest minority-owned computer software development company. Mr. Woodard is a recipient of the College of Engineering and Computer Science's Outstanding Alumnus Award and has devoted his professional expertise and talents to using technology to support our society's improvements, in particular in healthcare and public health, and to advance entrepreneurship. In his personal time, he also is dedicated countless hours to service as a role model for youth both in the Chattanooga area and in Atlanta, and is through volunteer work with Boys Clubs of America, Junior Achievement, and the Hamilton County Adopt a School program are some of the organizations that he worked for. Under his leadership, the healthcare IT service firm BCA developed the nation's very first electronic medical record system and one of the world's first telemedicine systems. Mr. Woodard was named Atlanta Minority Businessman of the Year and was the finalist for that same award on the national level. He serves on the Atlanta Private Industry Council, the board of Genesis Homeless Shelter, and his service to his alma mater at UTC is a membership on the UTC Chancellor's Roundtable. I am so grateful that he decided to come and share his thoughts with us and with you. I had a chance to hear him a couple of months ago, and what an inspiring speaker he is. I think you will be inspired after this talk. So, Mr. Woodard, please join me in welcoming him.
Thank you, Dr. Pat. Good afternoon. It is afternoon, right? It's pretty busy today. I am going to speak about an engineer becoming an entrepreneur, or an entrepreneur becoming an engineer. One of the things that I want to say offhand to kind of correct what Dr. Packard said is I actually hold an engineering degree from the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. But I never worked in engineering, I worked in computer science. I am so impressed having looked at the campus because I came to school as a freshman in 1969. I went to Ooltewah High School. I think a lot of you all are from the Chattanooga area. Maybe you know where Ooltewah is. So I went to Ooltewah High School and graduated there in 1969. I was a walk-on in the university, at the university. No, not the basketball team. I was a walk-on at the university. Now, how is that possible and why did that happen? In the 1960s, around 1965 or so, Hamilton County integrated its school system. Prior to that, I had always gone to a black school, an all-black school. So I went to elementary school, an all-black school out by Ooltewah, and then I went to Booker T. Washington of all of the middle school years. And when I went to high school, the county integrated school system, and I went to Ooltewah High School. So, I was speaking to a group earlier today, and I said, that was like being royalty, and then all of a sudden, you put in a position of a second-class student, or second-class citizen. Okay, now don't start crying for me, because when I tell you that I can take lemons and make lemonade out of it, believe me. Okay, so here I am at Ooltewah, and they put me in the C division, and back in those days, that meant you was kind of slow. And A division meant you was kind of smart. So I'm in the C division. And within 2 weeks, the principal came in and said, Mr. Woodard, pack your bags, I want you to come with me. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna get kicked out of school for sure. But I didn't. I got put in the A division. And I found that my citizenship was changing rapidly. By the time I got to be in the junior, senior status, Ooltewah High School had made me an officer of the school, like treasurer or secretary. And in order to do that, you had to campaign school-wide, and you had to get votes from the school-wide. And I won that position with an 80% margin. I even beat what Obama did. And I saw myself in a different light than the times. I was telling the group today, it's like, what some people would have said, it's like, well, he's black, he's awkward, okay? We don't know. I saw myself as tall, dark, and handsome. So I feel like this. If I see myself that way, I can convince you of that. Now, in addition to that, I could always speak, and I still do. I think in terms of numbers. Maybe you all understand that. So I was pretty good in math, and I was pretty good in science. As a senior then, at Ooltewah, I had become the first athlete in 10 years that lettered in 4 sports. In addition, I had won the science award, the math award, and at graduation, was told that I had the highest average in the school. So, I was looking forward to going to school. I wanted to go to UCLA. But I was a basketball player, and one day, me and one of the track runners, we got in a fight. And we both got put in the principal's office. And while we were in the principal's office, about 20 other kids got put in the principal's office too. The whole school had broken out in a fight. So in my last semester of high school, I made all A's and an F in conduct. You laugh, right? I was telling some of my friends, it's like, I'm so glad people ask me how many times I got stopped by a cop, or how many times I've been arrested, you know, that kind of stuff. But when awards day came, I got to graduate with a yellow tar shirt. That meant with honors, but I couldn't be the valedictorian or salutatorian. And other kids got scholarships and I didn't get any. I later found out from my mom that I had 4 athletic scholarships and 4 academic scholarships, but I didn't get any. I didn't get any of them. So, when I went to my dad and said I want to go to UCLA, he said, no, you go downtown to UTC where your brother is. My brother was 3 years older than me, and he had come here. And the school had only integrated UTC 1 year before my brother came. So I graduated from high school at 17, birthdays in August. My dad told me no to UCLA, couldn't afford to send me there. Let me say this, the reason he couldn't send me there is because we were poor, but this ain't no poor to riches kind of story that I'm telling you all today. Okay, that's not the point. But I do want you to know that I was born 50 feet from an outhouse out there. That was the community that I lived in. That's the community that my family lives in today. But today it's in walking distance from Volkswagen and Amazon and FedEx and Little Debbie, right in the middle of the fastest growing area of the county. I'm like 4th or 5th generations out of slavery. I'm a Southerner. I was born and raised here. So when my dad told me I had to go to school, I graduated on June the 3rd. About June the 10th, I came into McClellan Gym looking for the basketball coach. I was gonna play basketball. Basketball coach wasn't there, I ran into a football coach. Guess what the football coach did? He told me there's no basketball coaches here yet, but I'm running a summer program, and if you're gonna come to UTC, I'll give you a job. Now, this is important because I want to impress upon you what a great school this is. That's why I'm telling you all this. I don't want you to feel sorry for me, because I'm what you read about. I'm one of the great pioneers of computer science, and you can check this. But I walked into this university, and instead of them telling me, you're a bad kid, you might be smart, but you're a problem child, they opened the doors and came and said, come in, and they gave me a job. And in summer they said, it's like, when the basketball coach comes, if you do good in the summer program, we'll tell him about you, and we'll see if we can get you to try out for a team. And that's exactly what that coach did. And when the summer was over, the basketball coaches came in, the football coach introduced me to the basketball coach, and they let me walk on. And I made the freshman team. But, an interesting point. On that freshman team, which a lot of people don't know these days, is that Beyonce's daddy was on that team. Matthew Knowles came here from Gaston, Alabama on a basketball scholarship. Played here for 3 years, did his last year at Fisk University. Later on, a year or so later, after I met Matthew, we pledged together. You know, Mega's here on campus. So, now I'm on the basketball team. I'm majoring in engineering, okay? And I'm working at McKee Bakery at night because I don't have a scholarship. From 10 o'clock to 2, I'm taking 19 hours, a full load in engineering, okay? I was in a class like this, it was freshman chemistry. I don't know what it holds, 175. I was maybe 1 out of 2 black kids in this class. And one day, about halfway through my first semester as a freshman, maybe a little bit further on, the chemistry professor said, Mr. Wooders, I want to see you after class. I said, here I go again, right? And after class, the chemistry professor said, you know something? I was wondering if you'd like to have a job tutoring freshman chemistry. And I said, yeah. And he gave me a job tutoring freshman chemistry. Now, why is this relevant? Because an entrepreneur is someone that starts, organizes, and starts a business and runs that business. It's usually a small business, but not necessarily. And it's done in an environment of extreme risk. And here I was, helping the freshmen do their homework. Now I realized, through some other freshmen that I had met that they were struggling with math. So I then went to the student center and I pulled up a chair in the corner and I had math homework for sale. So if you were struggling with math, you could come and sit with me. I'd help you do your math homework. I'd charge you $1, $1.50. That was probably like $5 today. And I started selling helping homework as an engineering student. Now, long after that, this same chemistry professor, this is what the university did for a bad kid, a bad black kid, back in those days, who had got in trouble, felt like the whole world was against him, but had natural gifts. Okay? So the engineering professor, he takes me to the head of, the chemistry professor takes me to the head of engineering, Dr. Russell. Dr. Russell, he cons me. He tells me, he says, like, Mr. Woodard, so I understand you're missing labs in the afternoon. I said, but Dr. Russ, it's like I'm getting my homework done, I'm passing the test, I got a B average. It's like, he says like, so why are you missing labs? I said, I got basketball practice at 3. He said, do you have a basketball scholarship? I said, no. I said, but I'm working for it. The coach says that if I do well, he'll give me a scholarship. Right now, I get a meal ticket. I can stay in the dorm if I like. But he doesn't pay my tuition. He doesn't buy my books. He said, Mr. Woodard, would you be interested if I could get you a way to pay for everything? Now, keep in mind, I'm getting out of school. I'm going to basketball practice. Basketball practice at 6. By the time I get back to Ooltewah, it's 8. I got to be at McKee Bakery at 10. Okay, I got to work till 2, 4 hours a day. I got to be back in chemistry class at 8:30 in the morning. So I say, yeah, I'm interested. So he says, like, Mr. Woodard, this is what I want to do. We're starting a new program here. It's a co-op program. What we're going to do is send you all, a lot of the kids, you included, to industry in Chattanooga. And they're going to hire you, and if they hire you, you can go to school part-time, you can work part-time, and they'll pay. So I went to the various places, combustion engineering, DuPont, electric power board, TVA. It would be about 20 of us that would go. They'd select 2 or 3. I went to about 3, I never got selected. Then Dr. Russell sent us to IBM. We went to IBM, we got tested. A couple of weeks later, Dr. Russell called me and said, Mr. Woodard, IBM wants to talk to you again. So, on the days that I went to IBM, my mom had took me down to the Soul Man shop downtown, bought me a shirt and a $50 suit so I could interview. When I got the second interview at IBM, we went back, we got another shirt, same suit. And I went back to IBM. And the branch manager here in Chattanooga said to me, it's like, Mr. Woodard, you made the second highest score that's ever been made on this branch. And we want to offer you a position as a systems engineer trained, which is a software developer for IBM, under this program. We'll start you off with a piece of money. Now let me tell you what a piece of money was at IBM. When I took that job at IBM, minimum wage was $1.25 an hour. They started me off at $3.75 as a sophomore. Now, if minimum wage today was $15 an hour, that'd be like starting you off at $45 an hour as a freshman. When I tell you, he told me that, and I knew that I was making more than my dad was, and my mom, who was a maid, combined, I can't tell you how happy I was. I was grinning so much inside I was about to give myself away. But I kept my cool. Okay? And I said I'd take position. Position meant that I'd go to school in the spring, I'd work 5 a.m. in the summer, I'd go back to school in the fall, I'd work 5 a.m. in the spring, and I'd do that till I graduated. I was a systems engineer for the world's most profitable company. I had a badge like a driver's license. As a systems engineer at IBM, you could get in any data center in the world. Okay? That was like, to you guys, being able to hack wherever you wanted to hack. Okay? Not only inside IBM, but that IBM International Business Machine, which we supplied computers in business, customers all over the world, that meant I could get in their data centers too. So now I virtually got access to every computer in the world at IBM, making the equivalent of $45 an hour in today's money. It was a wonderful thing. But that branch manager put conditions on it. He said, now if you take this job, I want you to promise me a couple of things. I said, what's that? He said, never wear a black shirt or a white shirt, a red shirt back in here again. Never come back in IBM with a black shirt or a red shirt on, because that's what me and my mama had picked out at a soul man shop, to be in a red shirt, right, with a tie. And then the next time, a black shirt. Because in IBM, we wear white. This is an IBM uniform, okay? It's like, right? You know, we wore white shirts, blue suits, dark suits, wingtip shoes. We were the most conservative wherever we went, and that was the uniform. And I took that position. That's what the university had done for me. Okay? They had given me a summer job, had let me make the basketball team, paid me to tutor chemistry, put me in a program that monetarily set me free. After that, I became the bosselist of the fraternity. The university allowed me to do a concert at McClellan Gym. Now, when we did this concert, I was a country boy, and all my classmates, they were from Memphis and Nashville and stuff. Okay, so they were city slicks. And I was good at math, so they took advantage of me, right? It's like, oh, come on, help me with my homework, all this kind of stuff, right? They were also in engineering, but they, after a semester, dropped out, went into business school. But I stayed in engineering. And so now we went to the university, we said, can we have this concert so we can make some money? Guess what the university said? Yes. So some of the guys from Memphis, they selected a band, we promoted it. I thought that this was gonna be a black band, a black concert, rhythm and blues kind of thing, right? The truck drives up with all the equipment. We set up the stage in McClellan Gym. Okay, everything's set to go, the band come in. The band bus drives, kid steps off the bus. He ain't got no shirt on. He got on a white pair of jeans. He got on white cowboy boots. And he got long blonde hair all the way down to here. It was Black Oak, Arkansas, and they were one of the top rock bands of the time. And I said, oh my God, I didn't even know. I thought I'd been set up. And I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be a trouble. And then about an hour before it was time for them to start, the students started coming to the concert. And it was an amazing thing to see these kids coming out of the dorm, walking to McClellan Gym. And I was like, oh my God, we're gonna be rich. When it was over, we put thousands of dollars in our bank account. And chapters from Atlanta and Memphis, Nashville, Tennessee State, UT, came to see this model of what was happening. It was the entrepreneurial venture. As the group of computer science majors here before this, I was like, what do you want to know? They said, what is it like after you leave school? I said, what I believe is that you need to understand the value of that engineering degree. You need to understand the value of that computer science degree. You need to understand the value of a business degree if you're in business. They then asked me about money. They said, like, money shouldn't be a thing. You know, this society and money, okay? I thought that what they meant is that people shouldn't work, we should get everything free. That might have been what they meant. They said, money shouldn't be an issue, it should go away. I'll tell you what I told them. That if you understand the value of this degree that you get ready to get, money ain't gonna be no issue. Because I had so much money after I graduated. That it wasn't no thing. It ain't never been a thing after that. You know, I'm gonna tell you about things that happen as an entrepreneur where my total focus was to solve problems for society with the computers and stuff that I was fluent in. And it had nothing to do with money. But if you were in pursuit of excellence and people realized it, then they'll make it where money don't matter. Can you imagine that you got so much money that money don't matter? So in the equation, I want to X money out. But I want you to know it ain't about a society where everything is free. It's about understanding the value of this degree and understanding that this degree can make money a non-issue for you. Whether you want to be rich or whether you want to be a starving artist or anything in between, this degree means that money won't matter anymore. Now, 3 years with IBM while I was in school, 4 years with IBM after school. After I graduated, took a full time with IBM. IBM training was a whole year. 6 weeks in training, 6 weeks in the field. 6 weeks in training, 6 weeks in the field, learning how to program. Okay? You guys are going to be engineers and business people. As engineers, your job is to solve problems. As entrepreneurs or as business people, your job is to manage the products and services provided and to manage the money associated with that and to make sure that the business continues on. After the IBM training, I went in the field. I worked in Silicon Valley. I worked in New York. I worked in Dallas. I worked all around the South. We were putting computers in businesses. And I learned that business. But by the time I was 26 years old, I didn't like that anymore. I didn't like corporate America. It's like gas prices were high. They thought everybody should drive a small car, 6'7". I wanted a Cadillac. Okay. They wanted you to come to work and check in at 8:30, work to 5:30. I wanted to come to work at 12 and work all night long. Okay. Like they wanted you to wear these suits Even to this day, I rather wear my hat backwards. I like t-shirts. I like jeans and shorts. And I was one of the top CEOs in the country. I'm a software developer. That's what I do, that's what I like. But you don't come and meet with the chancellor of the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and wear that, because that's disrespectful for him. And if I disrespect him, I disrespect my past. And that I'm not gonna do. So, you get me now, but when I have the freedom to dress the way I want to, I dress the way I want to. And I like that freedom. So I left IBM. I went to LA for a year. Every young person's got to go to LA or New York for a year, right? Just for a year out of your life, right? So I did that, and I realized that I was a Southerner, I wasn't a West Coast guy. So I came back home, and I decided that I would do what I love to do, which was to live in those data centers and to stay up all night with those computers and to develop software and to make money. So I came home and I started this software business. I went to the carpet industry, which at the time was making 85% of the world's carpet and had more millionaires per capita than any place in the United States. A bunch of quote unquote rednecks. Okay? But I couldn't get the business here in Chattanooga. But down in Dalton, Georgia, where those rednecks were, I get the business. Because guess what? They like me and I like them. And I like being with the millionaires. I did one job there, and I'm gonna tell you a story about the second job. IBM had sold a computer system to another carpet mill. Now I'm charging $25 an hour. I got a young partner, he's charging $15 an hour, okay? And most people were working 40 hours a week. We were working 80. And you can do the math, okay? In 3 months after starting that business, I made more money than I made at IBM the last year. I put $1,000 in that business, that was it. And I just worked. People say work smart, not hard. I say to you, work hard and smart. Okay? Especially if you want to know what an entrepreneur is like. Work hard and smart. Outwork everybody. And be better than everybody. And that's how you become a success. Now, the second place they said, this is what I heard from a friend in IBM, that the IT guy couldn't get the computer system running at my second customer, wasn't my customer yet. So one of the owners, there was two young millionaires that was 33 years old, that was running this carpet mill. They claimed to fame their mama knew how to sew. And they took that and started making carpet, that process. And they got into it with the IT guy, which was a hippie type guy. You know, he liked to be cool, laid back. And he knew computers and whatnot. And that one of the owners said to him, it's like, you can't get this computer system running. I understand that there's an N-word over here at the other computer place that's making the computers run, and you can't make it run. And he told him he was insulted, the computer guy. He said, well, why don't you go get it? And the guy said to the computer guy, I will. And shortly after that, me and my partner got a call that somebody else wanted to talk to us about doing work for him. So we went over, we did an interview with him. Cowboy boots, jeans, the whole nine, lots of money. Says, we want you to do the same thing for us that you did for Queen Carpet. Take those programs and put them over here. How much will you charge us for those programs? It had cost this first group about $200,000 to develop these programs. okay? We said, we'll give them to you for $50,000, and we'll put them in. And they said, like, how much are your hourly rates? We said $25 an hour. He said, we'll give you 20. I said 25. He said 17. I said, I'll take the 20. And I took the 20. And he gave us a $50,000 check for the software. And it was the first time that I understood what software meant. He later showed me a magazine, Inc. magazine. It had an apple on it, and he says to me, it's like, you need to invest in this. It was the first time I saw Apple computer. It was in the 70s. It was about that time, it was the first time I heard about Microsoft, which meant that now people could have computers. What IBM did was one of the greatest screw-ups in business history, is that they gave the founders of Microsoft the rights to put software on all of their microcomputers, which was the new thing that they gave away the software. Because the business before that was hardware. I was learning about software. IBM was learning about software. Apple was learning about software. Microsoft was learning about software. And Bill Gates then had a vision that made them drop out of Harvard and go buy a program that became Windows, and the rest is history, as they say. And we learned about software, and we became the thing. We were the next thing that was coming, and we were growing fast. At 30 years old, I had 35 people working for me, and I was at 30 years old, I had 35 people working for me. I was the oldest one in the company. We were right down the street here in the Francis Willard building between here and the courthouse. We had the whole basement. We dressed the way we wanted to. We worked hard, we worked smart. We made a lot of money. And the parking lot was full of pretty cars. Okay. I'm going to take a little break in that action. This is 30 years old. We're running a corporation. Okay, we're building software. We've learned that we can take a piece of software, make a $200 copy, and sell it for $50,000. And charge $25 an hour to implement it and support it. Okay? Now this ain't a one-thing thing. These deals would run for 5, 10 years. Okay? Now I got a call one day from the mayor of Chattanooga, who had been the chief of police before he got elected mayor. I'm about 30 years old. Okay? I'm running this company. He says, I want to take you to lunch. He takes me to lunch. He asked me, had I been reading the newspaper? I read the newspaper sometimes. I mostly focus on financial statements and so forth. Well, Erlanger has bought two $10 million computers, a main computer and another computer, and they can't get it running, and it's an embarrassment to the city and to the county. Some people say that you know about these computers and that you know about healthcare, because I had done a little clinic somewhere. And I was wondering if you could make those computers work. You have to be careful as you pursue entrepreneurship. It's not meant for everybody, but if you pursue it, you have to be careful, because you got to be confident, but you got to be careful that you don't slide over into arrogance, which I've done a lot. Okay. But you got to be careful with that, because that can create a backlash against you. So I told the mayor, it's like, if you guys can tell me what you want to do with those computers, we can make them do it. The mayor then says, it's like, if you will do that for me, I'll put you on the board of directors of Erlanger. The board of directors of Erlanger $400 million a year. 11 board members, all of the power. Association with Blue Cross and Unum, which was Provident at the time, all of the healthcare in the state of Tennessee. Now on the board of directors, I was the youngest board member ever. And my job was to make those computer systems. And you know, I went over there and you know what it was? They had a business major running the IT shop. And I recommended to our CEO that they get a CIO, a Chief Information Officer. They recruited one around the nation, brought him in, problem solved. I still got 8 more years to do in this powerful position. Once the computers were running, the information started coming in. When you get information, it is powerful. We saw that we were spending $200 million a year to buy goods and services. That 70% of our patients were female. Over 50% of our employees were female. We had about 3,500 employees. And we were buying 250,000 out of 200 million from women businesses. A similar thing was happening in terms of the purchases from African American business. Armed with that information, I went to the chairman of the board, Dr. McCauley, you know, the McCauley Road, the McCauley School, the McCauley family that started Providence Life Insurance. I went to Dr. McCauley, who was our chairman, and said, look at this. Dr. McCauley says, I see. He then called me one night and he says, like, listen, Albert, we're trying to build a wing on the hospital. I need your vote to get it approved. We need to pass a bond. I said, Doc, I don't know nothing about bonds. What I know is that information that I gave you about our purchasing. He says, you vote for me tomorrow on this wing. I'll let you do the research and write a policy that's fair to everybody that will correct that. And I cut that deal, and I came in, and I voted for him. He got his wing. I got a chance to do research. I looked at the airport in Atlanta. I looked at the Hugh Blind Corporation, which owned Burger King and a couple others. We wrote a policy that had a goal of $10 million purchasing from women and $10 million purchasing from minority businesses. It passed unanimously, and I got positive press across this community like you would not believe. It was amazing. Now, I say this because relationships are so important in order to be successful. Who wants to be an entrepreneur when 95% of the new starts in businesses fail in the first year? Who would do that? Let alone being black in the South in the 60s. There are processes in everything that you do that makes you successful. See, we just wasn't successful in the software business. I got some friends here that don't go to university but know me. We bought 4 radio stations in this community. The same team that I had assembled. Because teaming is important. Excellence is important. That degree is important. Okay? About 4 radio stations. One I bought out of bankruptcy. Out of 30 radio stations, it was ranked number 29. We got it for $250,000. Now follow me. We got it for $250,000. Okay? We got an AM that was thrown in with it. We changed the format. We had heard these young kids in middle school listen to these radios with the headphones on. They're listening to that new rap music. We changed the format. We started giving the community that. Did someone say something? No. We started giving the community that. We took it up to the top 5. It took us 3 years to do that, to get to the top 5. We had lost another $300,000. We were down nearly $600,000 in the hole. One of our biggest customers was a car dealership. They come around and they bought that radio station for us for $1.5 million. made nearly $900,000 profit. Split that with my investors. My investors was my lawyer, my accountant, a couple of other friends. It was 10 of us that put in $10,000 apiece so that we could borrow this $250,000 and could run this thing for 3 years. And we made that money off of that. And from that, we then did the same thing for 2 other radio stations in the market. We used the same management team that we had in software to do this. We used the same chief financial officer, the same operations manager, the same CEO, okay, and our same computer people to do this. Okay? Now, at 30, I get a knock on my door, one of the engineers, professor, he's roaming around the company, right? And I'm thinking like, you know, what does Dr. Cook want? What is he floating around here? I ain't seen him for years. And my sister tells me, who was my assistant at the time, she says, you know, something's going up at the university, they want you to come tonight. I said, I'm not going up to the university. I ain't going up there. I go up to the university, I go up there to play tennis. I don't go up there to fool around. Oh, you gotta go, you gotta go. No, I'm not gonna go. Then one of my friends come up and he says, and he had graduated from the university. He says, like, if you go, I'll go as your date. Another guy, you know. Okay. So he goes as my date. We get off work, we don't change clothes or nothing, we in jeans and whatnot. We come to the university for this award day. And it's about 2,000 people. And they start giving out these awards. And the grand finale was the most outstanding alumni. And we're sitting there, we're eating, and they're talking about this guy. And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, I should know him. You know, oh, he's at the boys club. Oh, he visited the junior achievement. Oh, he went to the university. He graduated at this time. And about a minute before they called my name, I realized they were talking about me. I was shocked. I was floored. It was the first time that anybody had won this award within 10 years of graduating. This is what the university did for me. Imagine the university graduating 1,000 people a year, and over a 10-year period of time, how many people have graduated? They say to you that you are the most outstanding for this year. You're a black kid from the South, got kicked out of high school. See, what the university did is never let me get down on myself. Always let me know that I was as good as the next kid, even when I thought I wasn't. That the university continued to open doors. Look today, it's like I didn't ask to come here. The university asked me to come here. Today when I met with the chancellor, he asked me to speak at graduation. Okay, that's what the university continues to do. Even in my retirement, it's like the university is gonna put on the internet that I'm something special. If you say to me, it's like, which a lot of people do. They say, like, Albert, what would you say I should do? Some people say that to me. What should I do if I wanted to be an entrepreneur, if I wanted to be successful? Because it doesn't really matter that you got that engineering degree. It matters that you got your degree. See, because in the market, they say it's like, did you apply yourself? Are you willing to take on that margin? Are you willing to finish it? Can I trust in you? And if you got that degree, it says yes, you can. Understand the value of that degree. The university is saying, hey, he's got a degree from here. And if you believe in that, you in Atlanta like I am, and if you've traveled the world and you've done business all over the world, and I have, and I want to talk to y'all about team building if I have time, because that's important too. It's like, you say that, well, who's the leader? This is the leader. Where did the leader go to school? Got an engineering degree from University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Oh, really? Let's look into that. Oh, wow. That's decent. That's a decent place. So, if you're going to lay out and you say, Albert, what do we do? I say this. If you are at the undergraduate age, you might be a junior, senior, sophomore, whatever. I say to you this. Get that undergraduate degree. Okay? Work in industry for 3 to 5 years so you understand what it's like. And today, in the competitive international world, get your master's degree. Okay? And see if you can't fulfill your richness by the time you're 30. Now, you may not be somebody that's in pursuit of money. But remember at the beginning of this speech what I said, and that is find your happiness. By the time you're 30, know what your happiness is. Know what makes you feel good. See, the hardest thing that I struggled with in those years before 30, what did I want? I come to realize that I wanted freedom more than anything else. I understood what money did to help with that. That's the entrepreneurial piece. Do those things, if you ask me. Now, if you ask Bill Gates, he may say it's like go to Harvard and when IBM makes a mistake, jump on it and drop out of school and become the richest man in the world. That's his process. So my process ain't the only process. But if you ask me, that's what I'm going to tell you. I can only tell you what I know. Because if I could have done better, I would have done it. But I know this. Working for IBM, picking strawberries, working at my dad's gas station, it's like what I liked was running these companies. I like that. I like design and software. I like that. It's like money was like a scoreboard in sports. It's like that told me what the score was. So I'd say that. On the board of Erlanger, 1 year, I've been there a couple of years. 1 year, school was out. School came back in the fall. A kid over here at the university got sick. I done graduated. I'm on the board. I'm about 30. A kid got sick. We couldn't figure out what it was. We thought it was a cold. We treated the cold. Then we treated the flu. Then we treated pneumonia. Then the kid died. Student at the University of California. Then another kid got sick. Same thing. Then another one got sick before this one. Got 2 foot down the road. And then another. And we was like, what's up? And the information started tying them together, friendships, same fraternity, whatever the case may be. 2, 3 months. One day, the next one day, the next one day. Using them computer systems is like, what's going on? We send our people out to California, where the first kid came from, Northern California. They studying something that they call HIV, AIDS, immune something deficiency. I'm on the board of one of the largest hospitals in the South. These kids died. 1 kid, then 4 kids, then 10 kids, then 12 kids. Then it's all across the community, spreading like wildfire. All of a sudden, the money, the power, don't matter so much now. Now, like, we need these computer systems and we need these doctors because our society is being threatened. There was a fire. Everybody got out except for 5-year-old. 80% of his body was burned. He stayed in the hospital for nearly 2 years. We spent nearly $2 million treating the kid. Stayed in the burn unit. Kid died. I stopped doing computer work for anything that didn't have to do with medicine. And I transitioned, I don't say I, we, my group of pirates, 30 or 40 young pirates. We said from now on we do healthcare IT. We will look at these databases. We will find out where HIV comes from. We'll find out where infectious disease come from. We'll find out where social problems come from. And we'll get the best doctors and nurses that we can find in the world to help treat this. We'll use this for that. It turned out that healthcare is like the second and the third largest market in the world, next to defense. If you become an entrepreneur, you gotta go where the demand is. I was reading some author said the other day, it says like, listen, let me tell y'all the difference between entrepreneurs and non-entrepreneurs. Because a person gets a job and they go to work. And they decide that they're gonna start their own business because they're sick of work. So they start their own business. And a year later, they're not selling anything. Nobody wants their products, nobody wants their service. The banks are talking about taking their house, and the banks talking about taking their car. And the person then goes back to work so that they can pay for their house and pay for their car. Make sure that their kids go on to school. They said, an entrepreneur he goes to work, he starts his business. The bank says nobody's buying. The banks are going to foreclose on his house, going to take his car, threaten his livelihood. Does he let them take it? Let them take the house, let them take the car. Keeps the business open. I disagree with that to this point. I believe that the entrepreneur adjusts to the market. Products not selling, scrap it. Do another. Services not sell, provide another service. If you program it and they don't buy programs, clean the commodes. 300 million people in America, it must be 300 million commodes. I charge them $10 a year to clean the commode once a month. Big market. I believe that successful entrepreneur adjusts to the environment and follows the process that's successful and continues on. I still have the same bank that I started with in the 70s. Still use the same law firm. I still got 5 of the same partners. That was my first 10 employees. Okay? I still believe that sales is a 10-step process that increases the probability of a close of a deal. I still believe that in research and development, that you follow a 10-step process that gets you to a product that functions. I still believe that documented processes on how you manage money, how you collect your money, how you pay your bills, how you pay for your inventory, that's what works. And when moving that process, say from software to radio stations, adjust to the environment. It's a process. Just recently, you can file patents on processes. Okay? So understand, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, understand the processes that happens in business. Business is pretty simple. It's products and sales. I mean, it's products and services. That's what you said. Okay? Accounting is the normal business, accounting and finance and marketing and that kind of thing. Sales. Okay? And to the business major, let it be no mistake about it. The most important thing in business is the customer. Just like the most important thing to this university is students. Talking to Dr. Pat, I said, so you work for the students? He said, like, I guess I do. No. You know who pays the bill? Students. In business, you know who pays the bills? Customers. At Erlang, you know who pays the bills? Patients. If something messes up, if your product don't work, don't run to the laboratory first, run to the customer. If one of your employees screws up somehow and becomes disrespectful or whatever the case may be, don't run to the employee, don't run to the customer. If you want to know what's good about your business or what's bad about your business, go to the customer. I was working on my MBA at Georgia State, at a classroom like this. We went all days on Saturdays, I believe. Okay. And we had everybody work. Coca-Cola, Delta Airlines, you know, we had all of these people, you know, and they were working on their master's degree in business. And I think that we were in marketing or whatever, and the professor says, like, their hands up, like, what do you do with this problem situation? And everybody like, you know, I go to the lab and I look at this product and I change the process here and press that to get this, to increase the quality. Somebody else says something else, I'll refund the money, whatever. Having had a lot of experience as an entrepreneur, I said the first thing I do is get on a plane and go see the customer. The professor said, exactly. The most important thing is customer. You work for the customer. If the customer's not right, it's your job to convince him that you got a better way. It's your job. So, after 40 years, through the 7 years at IBM, and 35 years running this company, we bid at the Centers for Disease Control. We were doing health stuff for the federal government. We bid on a project that the government gave 11 awards, contracts to. For the next 10 years, those are the only companies that could do information systems work at the Centers for Disease Control. Okay? They didn't give us any money award, but the 11 firms were the only ones that could do any of the IT work. 10 years, it was funded $5 billion. $500 million a year. Our company, with that same team that we had had for years, bid. We were the only small business that won in the 11. Everybody else was the big guys. IBM, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, all of that. We worked it for 2 years. We were growing so fast. We had about 167 or so programmers and analysts, computer science people that was working there. We were winning the competition amongst us. We were winning our share. Another company that was a large company had bid and lost. There had been 150 bidders. They awarded to 11. One of the other big companies came in, I won't name any names. They're from Washington, D.C. They do a lot of federal work. They said, we want that business. They forecast the profits that we would make over the next 8 years. We agreed with that. We sold that business. And a lot of us walked away and never have to work again. You see, let me leave this with you. I've been blessed materially, spiritually, and everything else. I cash it all in to have your hand. I cash it all in to have your hand. I'd cash it all in to have your hand. To be your age, sitting in your chair, starting all over again. I'd give it all up just to be able to play again. Be there. Thank you all very much. Appreciate
it. Thank you so much. You heard what it takes to be a great entrepreneur and a great businessman, but also a great human being, right? You heard that it takes tenacity, and it takes belief that you want to do things excellent. And you heard that you have to be adaptive, and you have also heard that you have to have a great team of people that you work with. You also heard that you have to be loyal and faithful to those who are around you. So what a great lessons that you shared with us. So thank you so much. I'm going to take maybe a couple of questions you might have for our speaker. So some questions that you might have for Mr. Wood. You heard everything? Okay, I want you to stand up here with me, please. So we have a couple of things that we have for our speaker. First one is because you heard that he loves to wear casual clothing, right? So we have our college's shirt, polo shirt.
Thank you, sir.
I think that will go well.
I think it'll work.
And then we have, that's not gonna work?
I think it will work.
We're gonna find someone big, something bigger. And then these are a small gift from our college. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so
Appreciate it. And then on behalf of our athletic department, because he's a basketball player, all our Mocs basketball player have signed on this ball. So on behalf of Coach McCall and the athletic department, I want to present you the basketball. Go Mocs.
Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Thank you all for coming. Let's give our speaker one more hand. Thank you.